When the sky darkens and the winds begin to whisper of change, people often look outward for answers. They watch the clouds, they follow the news, and they wait for someone to explain what is happening. In March of 2026, a powerful megastorm rises across the land, stretching its shadow over nearly 200 million people. It carries a triple warning: fierce winds, relentless rain, and the threat of flooding. For many, it appears as chaos, a force of nature that cannot be controlled. Yet within every storm there is also a quiet teaching about impermanence, awareness, and the fragile balance between humanity and the earth. A storm does not arrive suddenly. Long before the first drop of rain touches the ground, the air begins to shift. Warm currents collide with cold fronts. Pressure changes in places far beyond what the eye can see. The same is true in life. The greatest disruptions rarely appear without warning. They are the result of many small movements building quietly beneath the surface. When people ignore these signs, the storm feels unexpected. But when they learn to observe carefully, they begin to understand that every event follows a chain of causes. The March Megastorm carries three great dangers. Powerful winds threaten homes and power lines. Heavy rainfall swells rivers beyond their banks. And widespread flooding turns familiar streets into rivers of uncertainty. These dangers test communities in ways they may not have expected. Yet they also reveal something important about human nature. In times of calm, people often live separately, each person concerned mainly with their own path. But when a storm arrives, barriers fall away. Neighbors help neighbors. Strangers share shelter. Communities remember that survival has always depended on cooperation. Fear naturally rises when warnings reach millions of people. The mind begins to imagine the worst outcomes. But fear alone does not bring safety. Clear awareness does. When people listen carefully to guidance, prepare their homes, and protect their families, they transform anxiety into wise action. A storm may be powerful, but a prepared mind is stronger than panic. Nature has always moved in cycles. The winds grow calm, then fierce, then calm again. Rain falls, rivers rise, and eventually the waters return to their quiet paths. Human life follows similar rhythms. There are moments of stability and moments of disruption. The challenge is not to avoid every storm, because that is impossible. The challenge is to meet each storm with balance. Those who observe carefully begin to see that storms also reveal hidden strength. A community that prepares together becomes resilient. Families that communicate clearly remain steady even when the outside world shakes. In these moments, people discover that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to remain steady within it. The March Megastorm of 2026 reminds the world of something simple, yet profound. Humanity does not stand above nature, but within it. The winds, the rain, and the shifting skies are part of the same world that gives life and sustains it. When people respect this balance, they learn to prepare wisely rather than react blindly. Eventually, the clouds will break, the rain will soften, the winds will pass, leaving behind quiet streets and clear skies. And in that silence, people may realize that every storm, no matter how powerful, also carries a lesson. It teaches patience in the face of uncertainty, unity in the face of danger, and humility before the vast forces of the natural world. The March 2026 Megastorm Threat. A massive storm system is expected to impact nearly 200 million people, bringing a triple threat of powerful winds, heavy rainfall, and dangerous flooding, creating widespread risk across many regions. In March 2026, a powerful megastorm begins to form across the skies, stretching its influence over a vast region where nearly 200 million people live. Weather experts call it a triple threat storm because it carries three powerful forces at once: destructive winds, relentless rainfall, and the looming danger of severe flooding. To many, such news brings anxiety and uncertainty. The mind immediately imagines broken power lines, overflowing rivers, and cities struggling to cope with nature's strength. Yet moments like this invite a deeper reflection about the relationship between human life and the natural world. The sky rarely changes without subtle signals appearing first. Long before the winds roar and the rain falls, the atmosphere quietly shifts. Temperatures rise and fall in distant places. Air pressure moves in delicate patterns, and warm and cold currents begin their slow collision. These small movements, invisible to most people, gradually gather strength until the storm becomes impossible to ignore. In many ways, nature speaks long before it shouts. But people often live busy lives, distracted by daily concerns, and they miss these early messages. When warnings spread across television screens and mobile phones, the reality of the storm suddenly feels immediate. Millions of families begin preparing. Some reinforce windows, others gather supplies such as food, water, flashlights, and batteries. Emergency services prepare rescue teams and shelters. These actions may appear simple, yet they reflect an important truth. Preparation transforms fear into wisdom. A person who understands the risk and takes careful steps does not eliminate the storm, but they greatly reduce its power to harm. The winds associated with this megastorm are expected to reach dangerous speeds, strong enough to uproot trees and damage buildings. At the same time, thick bands of rain move across the land, pouring for hours or even days without rest. As rivers and streams swell beyond their limits, flooding becomes a serious concern. Roads disappear under rising water, and familiar neighborhoods can change in a matter of hours. For many communities, the challenge is not only the storm itself but the speed at which conditions can change. Yet within this threatening moment, another reality often appears. When danger approaches, people remember their shared humanity. Neighbors check on elderly residents. Volunteers help move supplies and guide families to safe locations. Strangers offer support without expecting anything in return. The storm may test the strength of buildings and infrastructure, but it also reveals the strength of compassion and cooperation among people. Events like the March 2026 megastorm remind the world that humanity does not control nature's rhythm. The Earth moves through cycles that are far older and far greater than human plans. Storms, droughts, and changing seasons have always shaped the path of life. Instead of resisting this truth with frustration, wise individuals learn to observe, prepare, and respond with calm understanding. Eventually, the storm will weaken, the clouds will break apart, and the winds will grow quiet again. When the skies clear, people may look around and see both the damage and the resilience that followed. Homes will be repaired, roads reopened, and life will slowly return to its ordinary pace. But the memory of the storm carries an important lesson. Awareness, preparation, and unity are the strongest protections when nature reveals its immense power. Storms do not appear suddenly. Natural disasters develop through many small atmospheric changes over time. Recognizing early warning signs and understanding nature's patterns helps people prepare rather than be caught off guard. Long before the first thunder echoes across the horizon, the forces that create a storm are already moving quietly through the sky. The March Megastorm of 2026 is not a sudden accident, but the result of many invisible shifts in the atmosphere. Warm air rises from southern regions while cold air pushes down from the north. Pressure systems change their positions slowly, like pieces on a giant board spread across the planet. When these powerful elements finally collide, they create the conditions for a storm of extraordinary scale, one that now threatens nearly 200 million people with a dangerous triple warning. At first, these atmospheric movements seem too small to matter. A slight increase in temperature here, a change in wind direction there. Yet nature teaches that small causes often grow into great effects. A tiny spark can begin a forest fire, and a slight imbalance in the sky can grow into a storm that stretches across entire states. The lesson hidden within these events is simple but profound. The world is connected in ways that human eyes often fail to notice. Every movement, no matter how small, contributes to a larger pattern. When meteorologists began observing the signals of this megastorm, they saw the signs forming days in advance. Satellite images showed thick cloud systems expanding like vast blankets across the sky. Weather models predicted powerful winds capable of damaging homes and infrastructure. At the same time, heavy rain bands began developing, threatening rivers and low-lying communities with dangerous flooding. These warnings were not meant to create panic, but to offer something far more valuable. Time. Time to prepare, time to think clearly, and time to act with awareness rather than fear. For millions of people, these warnings serve as a reminder that nature's power should never be underestimated. Modern technology has given humanity incredible tools, yet even the most advanced systems cannot stop a storm from forming. What they can do is help people understand what is coming. Knowledge becomes a form of protection. When families gather emergency supplies, when communities strengthen infrastructure, and when local leaders organize response plans, they transform information into safety. Still, the human mind often struggles with uncertainty. As the storm approaches, many people watch the skies and wonder how severe it will truly become. Will the winds remain moderate, or will they grow fierce enough to tear through neighborhoods? Will the rivers stay within their banks, or will they overflow into streets and homes? These questions linger in the air like the heavy clouds above, yet worry alone cannot change the path of the storm. Calm preparation, guided by awareness, is far more powerful than restless fear. In moments like this, nature reveals its deeper message. Life, like the weather, moves through constant change. Calm days are followed by turbulent ones, and storms eventually give way to clear skies. Understanding this rhythm helps people face uncertainty with steadiness rather than panic. The wise response to approaching danger is not denial or despair, but careful attention. As the March Megastorm continues to gather strength, its presence reminds the world that every event begins with small signs. Those who learn to notice these signs, whether in the sky or in life, gain the ability to respond wisely. In this awareness lies a quiet strength, one that allows people to stand firm even when powerful winds begin to rise. Fear versus awareness. While such a large storm can create fear, calm awareness and preparation are more powerful than panic. Listening to warnings, securing homes, and planning ahead can reduce danger. As the great storm of March 2026 approaches, the skies grow heavier and the air feels different, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Reports spread across cities and towns that nearly 200 million people are under a triple threat warning. Fierce winds are expected to sweep across wide regions, heavy rainfall threatens to fall without pause, and rivers may rise beyond their limits. For many, the scale of such a storm feels overwhelming. Yet moments like this reveal an important truth about human nature. When danger appears, the distance between people often becomes smaller. In ordinary days, many individuals live quietly within their own routines. Neighbors may pass each other without speaking, each person focused on their own responsibilities and concerns. Life moves quickly, and the sense of shared community sometimes fades into the background. But when the warning of a powerful storm spreads across the land, something begins to change. People remember that safety is rarely achieved alone. They begin to check on one another, share information, and prepare together. In neighborhoods where the storm is expected to strike hardest, small acts of kindness begin to appear. Someone helps an elderly neighbor secure loose objects in their yard before the winds arrive. Another family shares extra supplies of water and batteries with those who could not reach the stores in time. Volunteers help local shelters prepare space for families who may need to evacuate. These actions may seem simple, yet they carry great meaning. They show that compassion often grows strongest when circumstances are difficult. The approaching megastorm reminds communities that cooperation is one of humanity's greatest strengths. Buildings and technology offer protection, but the support between people creates resilience that cannot easily be broken. When individuals share knowledge, resources, and encouragement, fear becomes easier to manage. Instead of facing the storm alone, people stand together, and this unity transforms uncertainty into collective strength. At the same time, the storm reveals how quickly life can change. A clear sky in the morning can become dark and restless by evening. Calm streets may soon echo with the sound of heavy rain and rushing winds. Such moments remind everyone that the stability they often take for granted is not permanent. The world moves through cycles of calm and disruption, and each cycle asks people to respond with awareness and patience. Yet even while the winds grow stronger and the rain begins to fall, there are quiet moments that show the deeper character of humanity. Emergency workers continue their duties despite the danger, guiding families to safety. Volunteers organize food and shelter for those displaced by flooding. Messages of support travel across communities, reminding people that they are not forgotten during difficult hours. When the storm eventually passes, the memories left behind will not only be about the power of nature, but also about the strength of human connection. People will remember who offered help, who shared resources, and who stood beside them during uncertain times. In this way, the megastorm becomes more than a natural event. It becomes a reminder that in moments of great challenge, compassion and unity often shine brighter than fear. Community strength during crisis disasters often bring people together. Neighbors support neighbors, and communities become stronger through cooperation and shared responsibility during difficult times. As the March 2026 megastorm approaches, a feeling of uncertainty spreads across many regions. Weather alerts appear on screens, warning that nearly 200 million people may face powerful winds, relentless rain, and dangerous flooding. For many, such news naturally awakens fear. The mind begins to imagine worst-case scenarios, wondering what may happen when nature reveals its immense strength. Yet fear, when left alone, can cloud judgment. It fills the mind with restless thoughts but offers no clear direction. In moments like these, what truly protects people is not panic, but calm awareness and thoughtful preparation. When warnings are announced, the first reaction for many is to feel overwhelmed. The scale of a megastorm seems too large for any individual to confront. But wisdom begins with a simple realization: while no one can stop the storm, everyone can take steps to prepare for it. Preparation transforms helplessness into action. Families gather essential supplies such as clean water, food, flashlights, and medical items. They check their homes, secure loose objects outside, and make plans for where to go if evacuation becomes necessary. These small actions may appear ordinary, yet they create a powerful shield against chaos. A calm and prepared mind is far stronger than one controlled by fear. When people panic, they often rush into decisions that increase danger. They may ignore official guidance, delay evacuation, or underestimate the seriousness of the situation. But when the mind is steady, it becomes capable of careful thinking. Listening to emergency instructions, staying informed about changing conditions, and helping others prepare are all signs of awareness in action. During large storms, information becomes one of the most valuable tools. Weather updates, emergency alerts, and community announcements guide people toward safer choices. Those who remain attentive to reliable information can adapt as conditions change. If flooding threatens a neighborhood, they move to higher ground. If strong winds approach, they find secure shelter. In this way, knowledge acts like a lantern during darkness, helping people navigate through uncertainty. Another important aspect of preparation is emotional balance. Children, elderly family members, and those already feeling anxious often look to others for reassurance. When someone remains calm and speaks with confidence, it helps everyone nearby feel more secure. A steady voice, a thoughtful plan, and a clear mind can ease fear more effectively than any words of alarm. This quiet strength spreads from one person to another, helping entire families and communities remain composed even as the storm draws closer. The March Megastorm reminds the world that uncertainty is a natural part of life. Just as the weather changes, circumstances around us can shift without warning. But the response to those changes determines the outcome. Panic leads to confusion, while awareness leads to wise action. Preparation, patience, and attention allow people to face even powerful challenges with courage. Eventually, the winds will weaken and the rain will fade, but the lesson will remain. True safety does not come from controlling nature. It comes from understanding it and preparing wisely. When fear is replaced with awareness, even the most powerful storm becomes something that can be faced with resilience and clarity. Nature's lesson of balance and impermanent storms remind humanity that nature moves in cycles and cannot be controlled. They teach humility, resilience, and the importance of living in harmony with the natural world. The Great Storm of March 2026 stands as a powerful reminder of how closely human life is connected to the rhythms of the natural world. As winds gather strength and rain clouds stretch across the horizon, nearly 200 million people prepare for the possibility of powerful winds, relentless rainfall, and rising floodwaters. Such moments can feel unsettling, yet they reveal an important truth that often goes unnoticed during calm days. Nature moves in cycles, and every cycle carries both challenge and renewal. For generations, people have looked at the sky and tried to understand its changing moods. A peaceful blue sky can slowly turn gray, and gentle winds can grow strong without warning. These changes remind us that the world is constantly moving, constantly transforming. The calm days that people enjoy are part of a larger rhythm that also includes storms, rain, and powerful winds. When viewed from this perspective, the megastorm is not simply an unexpected disaster, but a natural expression of the Earth's dynamic balance. Human beings sometimes forget that they are part of this balance rather than separate from it. Cities grow taller, technology becomes more advanced, and daily life moves faster than ever before. In the midst of this progress, it can be easy to believe that humanity stands above the forces of nature. Yet events like the March Megastorm gently challenge that belief. They remind people that the planet's systems, its atmosphere, oceania,